Hi darlings, Moon here, and welcome to part 2 of the 3-part series of bringing hauntingly elegant spirits to life inspired by a timeless holiday classic. Let's get into it. Today I'll be transforming this Dracula Monster High doll into the jolly ghost of Christmas Present from a Charles Dickens A Christmas Carol. And if you missed part 1 of this 3-part series, featuring the Ghost of Christmas Past, there's a link in the description below. But first things first, a factory reset, so bye-bye bangs, and, you know, the rest of her hair. And don't worry, baby girl, into the doll soup you go. Off with her head, and out with her brains. I mean hair. And away with her face. Now she's all clean and ready for her festive makeover. Dracula needed some plastic surgery to remove her vampiric features and to make way for some illuminating things later. I'll be rerouting this doll head with nylon doll hair and a mix of chestnut and sunset auburn from both shimmer locks. I paint her head to match her hair color. And begin rerouting her. I'll be using another LED kit from Evans Designs to illuminate this project as well. I use a yarn needle to thread the LED through the holes in the head I drilled earlier. And like I did with the previous doll, I used some UV resin to hold the LEDs in place. With everything secured, I hook up the remaining electronics. Ooh, heat shrink tube is so satisfying to use. And let there be light. Finally, I create matching hair wefts to seamlessly hide the electronic hatch, just like I did with the Ghost of Christmas Past in part 1. The time has come to give our jolly ghost a new face. After a layer of Mr. Super Clear, I start with chalk pastels in gold and oranges to add dimension to her skin and hide the pink undertones of the plastic. I also brush a bit of blue on the end to soften the colors. Next, I sketched out her features with watercolor pencils. And I start using chalk pastels to build up the color of her lips. I added freckles across her cheeks and forehead by lightly dotting her skin with my colored pencils. With the base features complete, I proceed to deepen and intensify the colors. And I finish off her face with a little golden eyeshadow and some soft eyebrows. Though I didn't capture it on camera, I did brush glitter across her face to give her a little bit of sparkle. I also add some white acrylic for a catch light on her eyes, some gloss varnish on her lips, and resin in her eyes. And now she's ready to get her hair done. After my struggles with styling past hair, I watched some YouTube videos on how to better manage styling nylon doll hair. And I want to shout out to Rodney Rainbow's curling technique. Very helpful. His link to his video will be in the description if you want to know how to curl hair like I did. But my goodness, look at these curls. No heat, y'all. They're so lovely. I then separated some of the curls so that way she doesn't have these really big ringlets and it's more kind of like soft, free-flowing curls throughout the entire head. Next up was blushing her body, and using chalk pastels, I layered the same colors like I did on the face with some yellow, orange, and a bit of blue to kind of soften out the tones after I added the yellow and the orange. As with her face, I added mica glitter for that extra shimmer, but it seems I forgot to record that step too. So, oops, let's move on to the outfit, shall we? In A Christmas Carol, the ghost of Christmas present embodies the spirit of generosity, warmth, and is dressed in a green robe with a holly wreath. For my version, she'll be wearing a two-piece look with a red dress underneath and the iconic green robe on top. I started with the red dress by deconstructing her original clothes to create a pattern. I used this stunning red fabric with a gold floral motif that I actually had in my stash, and it was just enough to do this dress. For the skirt, I just made a basic rectangle that I was going to gather to attach to the bodice. For the green robe, I chose a rich, luscious velvet in green. I adapted the bodice pattern from my Bulma doll and modified the skirt pattern from my 𝐋𝐢𝐯𝐶 doll to create the pattern for the robe. Sewing this stretch velvet at this scale was surprisingly tricky, so I had to hand baste most of the seams before I machine stitched them. The robe skirt is lined with the same red fabric as the dress, and I add a gold ribbon accent to tie it all together. Using fabric tack, I attached faux fur along the edges of the robe on the bottom and on the sleeves. Final detail was to top the edges with gold cording along the neckline and sleeve openings as well. The final touch for our festive ghost is her holly wreath, which will be on top of her head. To start, I looped green jewelry wire into a crown base. I found some holiday-themed florals that had some doll-scale greenery, so I got to work harvesting bits to make her wreath. I attached the first layer of greenery to the wire crown by wire wrapping it. And once I had a good base, I was able to glue on the additional foliage. For the holly berries, I sculpted them from some polymer clay. and then glued them to the wreath. Like the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present's wreath also features light-up candles. Using tiny straws as the base, I covered them in epoxy sculpt. Using UV resin, I added to the top of the candles to simulate drips of melted wax down the side of them. And now we're ready for paint. First the base coat, then the wash, and then the final details. With a little hot glue on the bottom, I slide the candle over the wire holding peg and let it cool in place. I finish with a glossy coat of varnish on the holly berries. And with that, our jolly Christmas ghost is ready to bring some holiday cheer. Here she stands, the embodiment of Christmas joy, robed in green velvet, adorned with holly, and crowned with light. The ghost of Christmas present with her kind eyes and radiant presence invites us to revel in the warmth and generosity of the season. Come in, know me better, man, she declares, as she spreads the spirit of abundance and goodwill to all. May her glowing form remind us to share the magic of Christmas with open hearts. Our journey through time is almost complete, but one final spirit awaits. Dark, foreboding, and silent. The ghost of Christmas of yet to come looms on the horizon. Who or what will we find in the shadows? Stay tuned for part 3, darlings.